Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairly Fiber Fun. Thanks so much for joining me today. This is an introduction to spinning on a wheel lesson. Today we're talking about castle wheels and how they're tensioned. We go very briefly into Scotch tension versus Irish tension, also known as flyer lead versus bobbin lead, and we put a new drive band on the Ashford Traveler that my friend Dana loaned me for the purpose of filming these lessons. It is a really nice beginner-friendly wheel, and I have never really, I spun on her once, very briefly. I don't know this wheel, so today we are going to get to know a brand new wheel together, and we're going to explore how the wheel works, all the different ways to tweak how it's working. So I hope you enjoy today's lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! So this is the Ashford Traveler spinning wheel. It is a castle wheel, and the benefit of castle wheels is they don't take up a whole lot of space. So as you can see on this particular wheel, there is a built-in lazy Kate, which is this part here. Every wheel has a drive wheel, a treadle or two, and the part that holds the flyer and the bobbin, which is the mother of all, and the maiden. The maiden actually holds the flyer in place, the mother of all holds the maiden. And then there's a drive band and a brake band. And that's pretty traditional for most spinning wheels. So let's take a little look at the flyer assembly. Every wheel is going to be a little bit different. Don't need the drive band. So on this Ashford Traveler, the flyer is not huge. The hooks are only on one side, regardless of which way you turn it. And the bobbin slides on. It has a small end and a big end. And if you try to slide it on this way, it's really not going to do. It doesn't want to fit. There's not enough space in the flyer arms. So you put the smaller end of the bobbin onto the flyer bar. And then this wheel's super easy. The back has a little groove, and you slip the flyer onto the back, and then you just twist this knob, this part of the maiden here, to hook it in. Now the drive band goes around the drive wheel and the flyer. So this is a flyer lead wheel, which is also called Scotch tension, and it is tensioned with a brake band that goes around the back of the bobbin right here. So this brake band goes around that bobbin and hooks around this little hook right here. And you change the tension with this knob right here. And I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit. I have to remove the hook first. There we go. So let's take a look at the back of the wheel. This is a double treadle, which means that there's two treadle bars. I think I'm going to replace this drive band. Okay, so the two treadles operate the wheel, and the drive band goes from the wheel to the bobbin, or the flyer, excuse me. I have another castle wheel that is bobbin led, which is Irish tension, I believe, and the bobbin sits at the very front of the flyer, and the drive wheel's back here on it. I'll show it to you in a bit, and the drive band actually goes around the bobbin at the back, and there's a brake band at the front of the flyer. But that's just a different kind of castle wheel. So this is the drive wheel. These things moving up and down, those are the treadle bars. And these are the treadles. And this is a double treadle, so you would normally use 2 feet, but you don't have to. Once you're ready to start spinning on your wheel, the first thing I would like for you to do, if it's the first time you've ever spun on a wheel, is just get used to treadling. Doesn't matter which direction, just try to keep it going the same direction for a while. See how slow you can treadle while still keeping the wheel going. Stop the wheel and try to get it going again in the same direction. Now I've reversed direction and treadling kind of fast, slowing it down. You can try, if you have a double treadle, just treadling with 1 foot. Treadling with just the other foot. You can give your wheel a twirl to get it started and then pick up the motion of the treadle and keep it going. Do that for a while until you're very comfortable with starting and stopping the wheel, being very consistent in which direction you're going. I would recommend practicing with the wheel moving in the clockwise direction because that's how I'm going to teach you how to spin. All right, so now we have the spinning wheel set up, and I've got it set to the largest whirl. And I'm just going to move it down too, because I'm used to a really tight, a really tiny whirl, really fast spin. And this maiden actually tilts to tension the drive band when you put it on a smaller whirl. A little bit more. Okay, and then I need to tighten up the brake band, but you don't need a huge amount of tension on that. And then you've got your orifice hook, which you use to thread your orifice. And there's already a leader on this bobbin. So I always start my bobbins at the back, but my friend who loaned me this wheel starts hers at the front. So you put the orifice hook through the opening at the front of the wheel, and you feed it out through the hole in the orifice, in the flyer, and you pull your yarn through. This is where all the twist happens. I'm going to find the loop at the beginning of the leader, which I highly recommend making your leader with a hook in it. And I'm just going to for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to tie a half knot in the practice yarn. And then I'm going to start treadling the wheel clockwise. There we go. And I just had to tighten up the tension on the drive band because it didn't want to, the flyer didn't want to turn. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm feeling a decent take up. Let's loosen it slightly. You want to be able to take the yarn from the wheel and give it back without any issue. That seems pretty good. Okay. Okay, what I just did was adjust the angle of the flyer, where the flyer is sitting in relation to everything else, because it seemed like the bobbin was rubbing against the back of the maiden, the mother ball, the post that holds the flyer. You want to practice treadling a steady rhythm and feeding the yarn onto the bobbin at a steady speed. This is just how you get to know your wheel. And I would recommend doing at least 15 minutes of spinning a commercial yarn and learning to move your hook periodically and adjusting the take up, which it doesn't take much to adjust it. That's a much stronger take up. I can still take it off the wheel, but I can also sit here and just let it pull through my fingers. Now I just have a very small sample to work with, so I'm going to pull it off the wheel. And so I don't put too much twist in. I'm going to practice spinning the other direction. Okay, there's my leader. So now I'm going to spin counterclockwise. I'm going to go a little bit faster and just let the wheel pull the yarn out of my fingers. Now I'm going to try giving it to the wheel. I'm going to try taking it back. Tighten up the tension a little. And that's really strong. I'm going to loosen the tension. And that's why you don't want the tension too loose, because things like that do happen. Slipping. Okay, I'm going to adjust the angle of the maiden. I'm going to stick that drive band on a different whorl. Tighten up the brake band. Okay, so I'm pretty confident in how this wheel operates and how to adjust everything and what to do should there be an issue. And I know to be careful not to let this tip too far because it kind of wants to. And I know about how much tension to put on this drive band. It's not so tight that I can't put pressure on it, but I can't move it very far. Could be just a smidge tighter. There we go, that makes a nice little noise. Okay, so we're ready to try actually spinning on this wheel.